right, so I want to take a look at graphing quadratic functions in vertex form, okay? So that means that I need to take my notebook and look at vertex form. The key things are going to be to know whether it's a maximum or minimum, or rather whether it's downward curve or upward curve, rewriting the vertex, finding the vertex, then drawing the axis of symmetry, and then mirroring the points. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So is this in vertex form? Okay, so we have to write this in vertex form. So we have x squared. So vertex form is supposed to have x minus something squared plus something else. So we need to rewrite that so that it looks like that. So if I have y equals x squared, and I want to write it in this form, that must mean that h has to be 0 and k has to be 0 because it's not there. So I'm going to rewrite that. So it's going to go parenthesis x minus, because it has to be a minus, 0 squared. And that hasn't changed anything because x minus nothing would just be x and then squared, plus 0. So that's in vertex form. Once I have it in vertex form, I've rewritten it in vertex. I look on the outside. On the outside, is there a number? No, so it's an invisible what? An invisible 1. So that means it's an invisible positive 1, which means that it's a happy face, which means it has a minimum and it's looking like this. So I know if my graph doesn't look like this, I must be wrong. All right, rewrite it in vertex form. I've already just done that. Find the vertex. So the vertex are these two numbers. So it's going to be that and that. So this is the vertex, and I'm going to write it down as 0, 0. So I'm going to go plot my vertex, which is 0, 0. Oops, 0, 0, right? All right, so then I need to draw my axis of symmetry, which is going to be basically up this middle, right? And then I just need to make a table and plot some points. So if I pick the point 1, so I'm going to pick the point 1, and all I do is to make that is plug it into my original equation. So my original equation, which is right here. So if I play, so x, y. I already have 0, 0, right? And now I'm just going to pick the point 1. So I pick the point 1 when x is 1. 1 squared is 1. So then y is also 1. And the cool thing about this is once I, wait, hold on. 0, 0, so that's 0, 0 right there. And then 1, 1. And you can see that it's going to graph it for you. So with this, you can actually kind of cheat. But if it didn't graph it for you, because you know your line of symmetry happens at that point right there where x is equal to 0, you would draw your line of symmetry, and then your point 1, 1, you would mirror it. So from here to here is 1, so from here to here is 1. And then that's it. Excellent. All right, so again, we have y equals 4x squared. All right, so rewrite it in vertex form. So I need it to look like this. So I'm going to say y equals 4. And remember, it's only the x that's squared. Like if you look over here, it's only the x1 that's squared. So I'm going to put the 4 outside. So x minus h, there's nothing there but the squared, so it has to be minus 0 squared. And there's nothing else over here, so it has to be plus 0. Okay. Once you have it in vertex form, you look at this first number. Okay. Is that positive or negative? It's positive, so positive is happy. So my graph should be looking like this, right? And then find the vertex, which is just the number after the minus and what's outside. So the number after the minus and what's outside. So my vertex is 0, 0. So once I find my vertex, draw axis of symmetry. So 0, 0 is my point. Oops, that's not 0, 0. 0, 0 is my point. My axis of symmetry is always x equals that. So that means I would be drawing a line up and down right here. Okay, but IXL is going to do it for you, but you still need to get in the habit of doing it. And then draw axis of symmetry, then make a table and plot. Okay, so I'm going to make my table, x, y. I already have 0, 0. Now I'm just going to pick a number to the right and then mirror it. So 1. And when x is 1, what is y? So plug it into here. So I've got x squared. 1 squared is 1 times 4 is 4. So when x is 1, y is 4. And it's mirrored it for you. So my next step would be mirrored. So you count 1 and then 1. So that makes sense. So again, you start off with the equation y equals negative 4x squared. Okay, make it look like the vertex form. So you're going to have y equals, this is the number outside, negative 4, and then the x, whatever is that with the x is squared. So x minus 0, because there's nothing there, squared, plus nothing there, so 0. Okay, and I hope that all of these are not going to be with a vertex of 0. So I hope they're going to start changing it. All right, this number outside is negative. Therefore, it's going to look like that. Okay, the vertex is going to be h and k. So it's going to be this and this. So my vertex is 0, 0. Draw the axis of symmetry. My axis of symmetry is going to be this number, x equals 0. All right, so and then you're going to make your table. So I'm going to go 0, 0. My axis of symmetry is right there. And then, so I'm going to have already 0, 0. And then I'm just going to pick a number to the right. This time, let me pick a different number so that you know you don't always have to pick 1. So let me pick 2. So when x is 2, what is y? So you plug it back into the original equation. 2 squared, and honestly, you can just do this in a calculator. 2 squared is 4. 4 times negative 4 is negative 16. Now, that's off my graph, so I need to pick a smaller number, so that's not going to work. So I'll pick 1. All right, so when x is 1, 1 squared is 1. 1 times negative 4 is negative 4. So I'm going to go to 1, negative 4. So 1, negative 4. And then look at the graph. Does that make sense? Yes, because it's supposed to be looking like that. If it didn't look like that, you know that you made a mistake. All right, so again, rewrite it in vertex form. So the 8 goes outside. Then it's x minus 0 squared plus 0, just making it look the same. Then this number here, positive, so that means what? Happy face. Okay, so my graph should look like this. And then these two numbers are my vertex. This number right here is my line of symmetry. So I know it starts at 0, 0 again. My line of symmetry is still that. And then I make my table, x, y. I already have 0, 0. And then I'm just going to pick one number. So I'm going to pick 1. And then plug 1 back into the equation. So 1 squared is 1 times 8 is 8. So I'm going to graph 1 and 8. Bam. All right, good. They started changing it. All right, so my equation is y equals x plus 4 squared. So again, we're rewriting it in vertex form, so it needs to look like this. So it kind of already looks like that. The only thing is, so it goes open parenthesis x. It has to be minus, and right now, what is it? It's plus. So I'm going to put minus, but I can't change the fact that it's plus, so I can do minus negative. A negative and a negative will make what? A positive, right? So I can put minus, minus, and then 4 squared. And then since there's no number out there, I can say plus 0, which means, again, what's the number out here? Invisible, positive 1. So that means that's positive. So my graph should look like this. Upwards, like an upward U, opens upward. And then my vertex is this number's here. So it's negative 4, 0. And then my line of symmetry, or my axis of symmetry, is x equals negative 4, is that first one, right? And then I make a table. So you get the pattern. This is just what I'm going to do every single time. I already have negative 4, 0, negative 4, 0. So I go to negative 4, 0. My first point goes there. My axis of symmetry happens at negative 4. So my axis of symmetry is going to be down that line like that. And then I'm just going to plot lines. Now, I don't like negative numbers. So when I pick my points, I'm going to pick nice numbers. Like I'm going to pick 0. When x is 0, what happens? Plug that back into your original equation. So 0 plus 4 is 4. 4 squared is 16. Okay, unfortunately, that's off my graph. Okay, so because it's off my graph, I guess I have to pick a number close. So I'll pick this number here, which is what? Negative 3. Plug that back in. So I'm going to have negative 3 plus 4. That's going to be 1 squared, which is 1. So I'm going to have negative 3, 1. And then again, I mirror it. So if to here to the mirror is 1, from here to here is also 1. So don't get lazy in that last step because no one's going to graph this for you like IXL is doing. All right. So again, first step, make it look like and I'm just going to write the vertex form here so I don't have to keep showing you my notebook. Okay, so this is vertex form. I have something similar already, but what we're gonna do is make it look, so everything squared is with this, right? So I'm gonna write x. Now, is there any number there? No, so I can just say minus 0 squared, because that's the squared part. Then this number is by itself, which must be my plus k, so that's -5. So first step, write it in vertex form, okay? When you write in vertex form, you can pull out the information from there. What's the number out here? Invisible +1, which means it's a happy face. So my graph should look like it opens upwards. All right, then these two numbers are my vertex. So 0, -5 is my vertex, and this first number is my axis of symmetry. All right, then you draw your table. All right, so you already have 0, -5. So I go to 0, -5. And wait, is that right? 0, -5, right. And so my axis of symmetry is x equals 0. So it goes through the x-axis at 0 one time. So that's what it looks like. And it should be a happy face. So it should do this. It should do something like this going through that vertex. Okay, so I know that's what it's going to look like. I'm going to pick a number to the right, because I don't know why I just get in the habit of doing that. Let me pick 1. Plug that back in the original. So 1 squared minus 5. It's going to give me -4. So 1, -4. So I go 1, -4. And then you mirror it. So from here to the mirror is 1. From here is also 1. So, and it looks like that. So that must be right. Okay, and then this is just what we're going to do until we get to 90. So again, why did I erase it? Make it look like vertex form. Okay, so we need to make it look like this. So right now we have y equals, a number out here is okay, 7. And then we have x, and then we have a plus, but I need it to be minus. So I have to change that minus 7 squared. And then there's nothing out there, so what can I put? +0. So vertex form, look at that first number. Positive, good. Happy, so it's upward sloping. Then these numbers right here after the minus is my vertex. So my vertex is -7, 0. Then this first number is my axis of symmetry, x equals -7, and then you draw a table. So you already have -7 and 0. So I already have -7, -7 and 0. Oh, that's not -7. -7 and 0. Oh, Lord. All right, -7, 0. My axis of symmetry happens at -7. So, and then it's upward. So it should look something like this. All right, just pick a number to the right of that. So -6, and plug that in. So plug -6 in here. And look, don't make a mistake. Just go ahead and use a calculator. So we're going to plug -6 where I see x. So I see 7, open parentheses, -6, plus 7, close parentheses, and then squared. Press enter. 7. So -6, 7 is another point. So -6, 7. And then the last step is to mirror it. And I keep saying this because IXL is doing it for you, but in the test, no one's going to do it for you. So this is my point that I'm given. I count to the mirror, which is 1, and then I count again 1. And that's why there's a point there. IXL is doing it for you, but in a test, no one is going to do it for you. And it looks, does it look like this? Yes, it does. Therefore, I'm probably right. All right, again, first step is write it in vertex form. So we're going to have y equals, again, the squared part is the one that's in the parentheses. If it's not inside parentheses already, the number goes outside. So that's 3 outside. Then you have x, and then it has to be minus, right? So how do I write that? Minus negative. Wait, I'm sorry. I'm tripping. The x is by itself, right? Because the x, this is not all x squared. It's just x squared by itself. So it's just x minus 0 because there's nothing there. The plus 7 is separate because it's not inside parentheses with the x squared. So plus 7. All right. Then again, first number, positive or negative? Positive. So happy face. So it should look like this, opening upwards. This number here is my vertex. So 0, 7 is my vertex. This first number is my axis of symmetry. And then you draw your table. Start with the vertex, which is already 0, 7. Pick a number, so 0, 0, 7. And you, look, it should be upward sloping, so it's like this somehow. x equals 0 is my axis of symmetry, so that's my axis of symmetry right there. And then pick a number to the right. So I'm gonna pick 1, plug that in. And again, just take your calculator and plug it in. So where I see x, I'm gonna put 1, okay? So it's 3 times 1 squared plus 7, 10. So when x is 1, y is 10. When x is 1, y is 10. And then again, mirror it. So it goes 1 that way, then 1 that way. So that should be right. Okay. Again, write it in intercept form. Actually, this is already written for me because you can see it has the x minus already. So that's already there. So I can just pull my numbers out. So this happy face, so it should look like this. It has the minus already, so I'm fine. So that means this and this are my vertex. So my vertex is 6, negative 6. And then my axis of symmetry is x equals 6. And so 6, negative 6 my first point. Then I'm going to pick a point. So 6, 6, 6, negative 6. I know it's going to be upward. My line of symmetry is at x equals 6, crosses the x-axis at 6. That's what that means. So it looks like this, it's going to look like this. And then so pick the point to the right or to the left, doesn't matter. I'm going to pick 7. And then I'm just going to plug 7 into the original equation, but I'm just going to use my calculator. So where I see x, I'm going to put 7. So 5, open parentheses, 7 minus 6, close parentheses, squared minus 6. And that's negative 1. So 7, negative 1. So 7, negative 1. And then again, the last step, because IXL is doing it for you, but the test won't, is to mirror that. So it goes 1, so then 1. And if I pick another point, well, 8 is not going to be there, so I can't show you in this example. And does that make sense? Is it upward sloping? Yes, it is. So I'm probably right. All right. Again, now it's cool because now they're already writing it for you in vertex form. You can see the biggest thing to check is that this has to be negative. It's there, so I'm ready to pull out my information. This is a negative, so that's downward. That's opens downward because they're not happy. And because it already has a minus, that's my vertex right there. So 4 and 6. My axis of symmetry happens at 4, so x equals 4, and then you make your table, x, y. I already have 4, 6. Now I just pick a number in addition to that. So 4, 6. Now I should expect it to do this. Okay, I should expect it to do that. My axis of symmetry is going through the x-axis at 4. So my axis of symmetry is this. That means whatever point I pick, I match it on the other side. I match them on the other side. That's what that means. Okay, so I'll pick 5. Okay, right here, 5. And see what happens, and I'm just going to punch that into the calculator. So I'm going to erase that so you can see. Negative 3, open parentheses, and I picked 5 for x, minus 4, close parentheses, squared, plus 6. So 3. So that gives me 3. So 5, 3 is my point. So 5, 3. That makes sense because it's going down. And then again, don't forget to mirror it. So in a test, they're not going to give that to you, but you'll go 1 and then 1. That works. Can I show you another point? Okay, I'll just show you another point. Like you see, this is a mirror. Okay, so you see it goes a little bit and then 1. 1 and then a little bit. Like it has to be exactly symmetrical. Look at the distance from here to here and here to here. Okay, so you can see that it goes a full box and then a little bit over, a full box and a little bit over, because you have to mirror it. Okay, so that looks about right. So, all right, so again, it's already, the biggest thing to check is that negative. Yes, it is, so I don't need to rewrite it. So now I'm just looking for the information. This is good, so it should look like this. My points are there, so that's 8 and negative 4. And then this first one is my axis of symmetry. So I plot 8 and negative 4. And I know it's going up. Like it's upward, opens upwards, so it does that. And my axis of symmetry goes through x equals 8. And then I just pick a point. So x, y. So let's pick 9. All right, punch that into the calculator. So I'm gonna erase this so you can see it. Punch that into the calculator. So you go 2, open parentheses, and then the word 9 minus 8 squared minus 4. So negative 2. So my next point is going to be 9, negative 2. And again, make sure that it mirrors it, like this is equal to that. This from here is the same distance from each place to the line. So that makes sense because it's upward sloping, so I'm good. All right. Again, biggest thing check, is that a minus? No, it's not, so I have to rewrite this one. So I go y equals negative 5 x, and it has to be minus, so I go minus negative 8 squared plus 8. So that's the biggest thing. Once you do that, you just pull the points. Negative is bad, so it's going to open down. And then here's my vertex, which is negative 8, 8. My line of, my axis of symmetry is x equals negative 8, is that number. And then you make your table. So negative 8, 8. That's my vertex. And then it goes through, axis of symmetry is negative 8 at x, so right here. So that's my axis of symmetry. And then I just need to pick a point to the left or to the right. I'm gonna pick negative 7. And then punch that in the calculator and see what that does. So I have negative 5, open parentheses, negative 7, plus 8, close parentheses, squared, plus 8. I get 3. So negative 7 and 3. So negative 7, 3. And then make sure it mirrors it. So it's 1 over and 1 over. And is it going down? Yes, it is. So I'm probably right. Okay. So biggest thing, is it minus? Yes, it is. There's an invisible 1, positive 1 outside. So that's happy face like that. And because it's already minus, that's my point. So my vertex is 8, 8, 3. And it's upward, and it happened, the axis of symmetry is right there at that number, going through that number like that. So I just need to pick 1 over. So I'm going to pick 9. Punch that in the calculator. So I'll go open parentheses, 9, because that's what the number I picked, minus 8, close parentheses, squared, plus 3, enter, 4. So when x is 9, y is 4. And does that make sense? It's going up? Yes. Does it mirror it? Yes, it does. All right, I'll do one last one. Oh, this is a fraction one. That's fine. I'll do one last one. So again, is there a negative? Yes, so it's already good for me. That's positive, so that's a happy face. Should look like that. And my vertex is that. So my vertex is 2, 8, 2, 8. My line of symmetry happens at going through 2. And it should be going upward. Pick a number after, so that's 3, x, y, 3. Plug that in. Now, anytime you have a fraction, always put it in what? Parentheses. So 1 divided by 4, that's the same as 1 over 4. Open parentheses, then x. What number was I picking? 3. So 3 minus 2, close parentheses, squared, plus 8. 8.25, so that's 8 1/4. Okay, so maybe this is not a good number to pick because it's going to be hard to graph. So I'm going to pick another number. Let me try 4. Okay, so now in this one, I have to be careful because I might have to do it a couple of times until I find like a whole number. So 1 over 4, 1 divided by 4, close parentheses. And then I picked what number? 4. So 4 minus 2, close parentheses, squared, plus 8. Oh, what did I do? Go to... Oh, I forgot to open parentheses. Oh, Lord. All right. Open parentheses, 1 over 4, close parentheses, open parentheses, and the number I picked was 4, minus 2, close parentheses, squared, plus 8, which is 9. Good. A whole number. So maybe, hey, the number right after isn't going to work. Just move on to another number. So the vertex is there, and then I'm going to go to point 4 and 9. 4 and 9. Does that make sense? Yes, because it should be opening. Now, check this out. From here to here is how many spaces? 2. And then you mirror it 1, 2. That makes sense. So it's not always 1, so you need to be careful on that. All right, I'll do one last one. It's already x minus, so I can pull my information. So that's going to be positive, so upward. Here's my vertex at 3 and 1. 3 and 1. That's my vertex. Right there at 3 and 1. My line of symmetry goes through that, so x equals 3. And then I just need to pick points. So I'm going to pick 4. Let's see what happens when I pick 4. Plug that in. So it goes 7, open parentheses, 4 minus 3, close parentheses, squared plus 1 is 8. So it goes 4 and then 8. All right, and does that look right? It's mirroring up, yep, and it's mirrored, yes it is. So, and that's it. So that's how you graph in vertex form.